Hello viewers, welcome to Ayurmegha Health World. Nowadays we see many are suffering from a very common problem, that is sinusitis. In this video we are going to discuss in detail about this problem, and we have with us Dr. Nidhi Navani, an Ayurvedic doctor. So let's get into this video and let's talk to her. Doctor, what is exactly sinusitis?
See, by sinusitis we mean whenever there is an inflammation or infection in the sinuses. Now, what are sinuses? Sinuses are empty sacs or empty bodies in the head. So, we have two sinuses over here, we have sinuses over here, we have sinuses over here. So, these are basically empty spaces in our cranial disc to maintain the balance or to maintain the air pressure. So, at times they have a thin mucus lining. Okay. At times this mucus lining gets infected and the sinuses, they get inflamed, and that causes sinusitis.
What is the symptom?
Okay, now coming to the symptoms of sinusitis, very common symptom is patients who are having sinusitis, they will always complain of some headaches or some aches or pain in this area, heaviness, pain here, or they say they experience some kind of heaviness in that area. A typical symptom of sinusitis is that whenever they look down for more than 1 minute, if they're continuously looking down for more than 1 minute, whenever they take their head up, they will get reeling sensation or giddiness. That is a classical symptom of sinusitis. And then reoccurrence of that sneezing. Mornings they get up, they will at a go they will some 15 to 20 times they will sneeze. Again in afternoon, the moment they are exposed to some temperature change, some foreign smell, some if they go to the kitchen, there is some other smell is coming. Anytime the nose becomes so sensitive that anytime there is a temperature change or little dust, they get exposed to that, immediately they start sneezing. There is a recurrence of cold every now and then. They get a recurrence of this cold. So these are some very common symptoms of sinusitis.
How is it different from headache, migraine and normal?
See, migraine headache will be different. Migraine will not be associated with this type of, the heaviness in these areas, in this areas and the sneezing part. So migraine usually comes in this temporal parts of the head, not on these areas. So this is the major difference. Plus migraine is, migraine people they want to sit isolated. Sinusitis is not like this. Sinusitis will come anytime and people will have that heaviness, and at times, as I mentioned, the typical classical symptom is that giddiness. Migraine people will not have that.
Okay, ma'am. So what is the main cause of this sinusitis, ma'am?
As I mentioned, sinusitis is, because the sinuses are getting inflamed. So it can be because if it can be any foreign particle entering the nostrils and, getting stuck over there, then the mucus lining, it gets infected. It becomes so sensitive that it reacts to every, dust particle or any foreign element. Mainly what patients do, if they have this sinusitis or repeated cough or, this cold, we take some antibiotics. Usually we'll take some anti-allergics, we'll take some antibiotics and, try to suppress it out. What happens in the long run, this entire area, it gets collected with all this rubbish, everything gets stuck over here. And this mucus lining, it becomes thick and it becomes very sensitive. And that is how we develop the sinusitis. So what happens, everything is just stuck here in the sinuses. They are filled with all this rubbish. Yes. Okay. So that is why that heaviness, that giddiness, every time it is there.
So how do we diagnose this, ma'am?
First the symptoms are there. Then for a confirmed diagnosis, we can do a CT scan of the paranasal sinuses or an X-ray of the paranasal sinuses, wherein we can find out, okay, everything is that is the rubbish is just collected over there. The sinuses are not clear. It is very much visible in X-ray or a CT scan of PNS. So that is a confirmatory diagnostic test for sinusitis.
So what are the treatments available in Ayurveda to treat this sinusitis, ma'am?
Yes, now see, Ayurveda has a wonderful treatment for clearing of the sinusitis problem, and to some extent we can say that is a permanent solution. What we do is we just cleanse the sinuses. Okay, we don't try to suppress the symptoms, because suppressing the symptoms means if we have a headache, we'll take one painkiller. If we have some sneezing, we'll take one anti-allergic. If we have that giddiness, then we might take something for that. Here we are not doing a symptomatic treatment at all. We try to see that the sinuses which are filled with all this rubbish, that everything is getting cleared out. Second thing, the mucus lining has become thick. So we need to, cleanse that fully and see that a fresh mucus lining which is normal, that is being developed. Many a times, because of this continuous pressure on the sinuses, people even develop nasal polyps. Okay, and because of that nasal polyps, people are not able to sleep at night. Okay, whenever they sleep at night, they feel there is a blockage, they are not able to breathe and they have to open their mouth and breathe through mouth. Many people have this problem who are suffering from sinusitis. Okay, so to see, then Ayurveda again has a wonderful treatment to clear this nasal polyps without surgery. Okay, so we have very effective treatment without surgery in Ayurveda, and which can be a permanent solution.
So what foods to be avoided, ma'am, if they're suffering from sinusitis?
Basically, they need to avoid cold items,
Cold
all
items.
fridge items, cold juices, citrus fruits, ice creams, all this has to be avoided.
So it comes regularly actually. Many we see, they'll be telling that I'm suffering from sinus, so I should not eat this and all. So is it that it will be coming frequently, ma'am?
See, yes, and as I told
there is no
you,
permanent solution for
yes, see, as I told, many people suffer with this problem throughout their life.
Yes.
Many a times we get patients who have even had their surgeries done for sinusitis. Still, the problem again comes back to them. The reason being, first of all, that immunity is not developed to that level. Second is, there is, again, these things, foreign elements or whatever, the infected things, that rubbish, whatever, pus, everything, whatever is being generated, it is just stuck over there. So what we try to do in this Ayurvedic treatment of ours, we try to cleanse this, and that is how it is very effective, and there is very minimal chance of reoccurrence after you undergo this Ayurvedic treatment.
Okay, ma'am. So how this Panchakarma treatment will be helpful in treating sinusitis?
As I mentioned, see, whatever treatment we are doing in Ayurveda, that will be a Panchakarma treatment, and it will be effective because it will cleanse, it will drain out whatever is getting stuck over there.